course, if you get along well, if you love that person, there's a confidence that is different. Usually when you need money, you go to relatives. You know, your parents, help me, I have to, I need some money to buy the car, then I will give it back to you. But when you ask for counseling, particularly in big cities, you go to friends. So I'm just going in another direction now. About migrants, nationality, we didn't make an analysis because of a sample size, and I will go back to your question, of specific nationalities, even though we had the data, because sometimes I have very few cases. So we sort of divided it in European migrants, and that might be sort of interest to you, but yes, there are many European immigrants in Argentina. People that are still alive. Most of them are old, but they are European immigrants, and they still hold a European passport. They never, hold the Argentinian nationality. And Latin American migrants. And yes, we did find some difference between migrants from, but when analyzing the place of residence, like for example in Buenos Aires, there's a huge concentration of Buenos Aires, whereas in the greater Buenos Aires, there's a huge concentration of Peruvians and Bolivians, and Chilean migration was strong in Patagonia. So there, and what we did, for example, was something in terms of cosmopolitanism. If you have contacts abroad, and there are two patterns. There are migrants that have contacts abroad, particularly from their own country, and then people from middle and upper classes from big cities, particularly Buenos Aires, who have contacts abroad that they met on holidays or in other type of social activities. And there is a big divide. Middle and upper middle classes have foreign contacts from Europe and the US, and Latin American migrants have contacts only from their country of origin. But we didn't differentiate between Bolivians, Peruvians, Chileans, Uruguayans, Brazilians, and so on. Golden contacts. How we did it? This methodology, very well-known methodology in studies of social capital, social networks, and so on, that is called a position generator. You ask people if they know someone in different positions of social structure. Usually what you try to do is to try to include professions that cover from, say, a builder to, a judge, or a doctor, or whatever. And then with that, there's something, I don't want to enter into details, but there's something, some research has been conducted in many different countries to sort of standardize the values and decide the quantum of social capital, how much does it values your contact. And of course, having a contact with a high official of government provides you more social capital than knowing a baker, so to speak. So they have organized all that. So what we didn't ask that, and we asked about contacts in key positions. As I said, for example, high-ranking government official, judge, high position in the police of armed forces, high position in the country house, and so on. So then we looked for the value of that scale that is international, and we created a scale. So that's what we did. But we had a more demanding question, because the question was not, you know someone by name, or you know someone who knows someone. This one was, you know someone that you can contact, that you have, for example, the telephone, or the email address, and that you have enough confidence as to ask for a favor to that person. Because everybody knows, well, everybody knows, but many people are likely to know a doctor. And one thing is to know a doctor, another thing is to know a doctor that has an important position in a hospital, and also that you know him or her, that you have the telephone, that you have the email, and that you can ask for a favor from that person. So that was how we went with that. Entogamy, romantic love, oh, this is very interesting. We don't use the word entogamy, and we make a differentiation, conceptual differentiation that not everybody does. Many people use entogamy and homogamy as synonyms. We decided to make difference, because for us, endogamy is more it has more an anthropological origin. It has to do with this idea that you mate with someone, like in a, sorry for the word, traditional societies, that is from the same tribe, the same group, and so on. Whereas homogamy has much to do with what you say, it's something that is similar to you. And of course, we cite Gefei-FIONA in the book and other authors. We try to sort of explain why that happens. And it's what you said, probably has to do with opportunities. That's why in our research, and in other research, our research is consistent with international research that shows that couples that are formed on the internet are less homogamic in general, because it opens up the opportunity to find people that you would never meet in your real life and presence. So it opens to other things. And this has to do with romantic love too, because this homogamy decreases in certain specific groups. For example, people, as I said, that are divorced and establish a second couple, those couples tend to be less homogamic, are more likely to meet that person on the internet. The age gap increases a lot, no? A lot. And of course, you talk about romantic love, but I mean, you see that not only in those couples, in many couples, there's something instrumental going on too. There's an exchange going on too. So that's something that you probably will have to contact qualitative research to reply to that answer better. And about what you said about the conflicts, sorry, the sort of cultural thing that you have in common. We saw that also when we dealt with conflicts. You know, when you have, imagine, I see that there are some people from Argentina here, but of course we know, imagine people, middle classes in the urban settings, they all go to the psychoanalyst, they have resources to deal with, with these kind of things in the couple. Probably they over do it in a way. So it's like Gefei-FIONA says that. Yes. How the methods and conducted research, but it's a traditional survey. It will take a long time, but I just want to say like a few things. The sample is polyetapic, that means that you start selecting, for example, it's a statistical unit that groups households, and then you have data, that statistical data of the structure of those areas. So you make a random selection with proportional allocation, and then in the second round you select probably a segment, and then you select a household, and within the household you select a person. We use a fish table, that is the mechanism to group all the members of the household and make sort of a random selection that will then reproduce all the age and gender structure in the final selection. It was 4,500 cases. I don't know if you're very familiar with statistics and sampling theory, what it means. If this sample is representative or not, but the question of representative is very complex. It's not, doesn't go in this direction only, but it depends many times on how you break up the cases. So if you want to talk about a very specific group, and in that group you have only 5 cases, that's what you have. But to talk about the society as a whole, to talk about gender differences, generational differences, and so on, whenever your final sample has a determined quantity of cases, you are safe of making generalizations within reasonable limits of error. So that's basically how many cases we dealt with. And then the questionnaire was applied with personal interview, with CAPI, CAPI, computer-assisted personal interview, so that the interviewers had a notebook, an iPad, and they had the questionnaire there, and they were, and in other parts of the country, it was done with CATI, computer-assisted telephone interview, where in those places that we knew due to pilot testing and also other surveys and also statistical data from the National Office of Statistics, it's very unlikely to have replies face-to-face. So that's what we did there. Gender identity, yes, is also part of gender in general and gender identity of our intersectional analysis. There are specificities, there are many